The comment section for this video is going to be amazing. Here are 10 countries that shouldn't exist. Belgium is probably more divided than any other country, with the northern region speaking Dutch and the south speaking French. Most consider themselves either Walloon or Flemish more than Belgian. Even the major political parties have two different versions for each region. Flanders and Wallonia have each been gaining more autonomy and growing further apart. It's very possible that Belgium could soon split into two different countries. That's because Belgium should never have existed in the first place. At the risk of oversimplifying it, Belgium was created by the British Empire as a buffer state to offset the power of both France and Germany. It existed only as an artificial tool, which is why the people of Belgium were never very nationalistic. Ukraine is similar to Belgium in that it was created as an artificial buffer state, this time by Germany to prevent Russia from being a threat to them. Russia needs Crimea for proper access to the Black Sea. Only then can it be a naval power in any real way. And without that, Russia can't be a global power. That's why Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. It's as true today as it was in the early 20th century when Germany created Ukraine to weaken Russia. They essentially invented the concept of a Ukrainian country, which is why so many within it have always considered themselves Russian. Liechtenstein, because look at it. The population of Liechtenstein is 38,000. That's not a country, it's a moderately sized festival. Liechtenstein was part of the Holy Roman Empire, which had over 300 tiny states. Most small states were absorbed into Germany when it became a unified country, but Liechtenstein was sandwiched in between Switzerland and Austria, so Germany could not easily claim it. So the principality survived into the modern world. It's probably the most useless and pointless country on earth. Now Moldova is debatable. Some say the Moldovan people are culturally separate enough from others to have their own country. Others say Moldova should just be part of Romania. They say the idea of Moldovan identity was used as a tool by the Soviets to divide Romania, thereby making it more difficult for them to gain independence. They are right to say that. It's what the Soviets were best at. But after the Soviet Union fell, the legacy of them encouraging Moldovism remains, with people wondering if Moldovan nationalism is simply something they invented, or if it existed before the Soviet Union. I think realistically Moldova should be part of Romania rather than its own country. You might think of Cyprus as one country, but you'd be wrong. Since 1974 the island has been split in half. The southern part of the island is the Republic of Cyprus, but the northern part is the lesser known country of Northern Cyprus. It's a Turkish colony that operates as an independent state since Turkey invaded the island in 1974. Northern Cyprus is only recognized by Turkey, but as the Turkish military occupy it, no one has been able to stop it existing. So now it's just there as a weird sort of country that exists for no real reason and wouldn't if Turkey wasn't occupying it. But on the bright side, they have a lot of wild donkeys. There are two countries known as the Congo, and they're right next to each other. It's too confusing, I don't like it. One of them has to go. They both border the Congo River, which was named after a historical kingdom called the Congo. Both countries want to associate with this kingdom. So now we have the Republic of the Congo and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Two countries right beside each other. Even their capital cities are basically the same place. If not for the river between them, it would be one big city. Things would be less confusing if the two Congos were to unify. They could be Super Congo, or just the Congo. Either name is brilliant. Bangladesh is an interesting one. It was part of British India, but in 1947 India was split into two countries, India and Pakistan. What we now know as Bangladesh was then East Pakistan. A country being separated like this isn't unheard of. Azerbaijan has lands on both sides of Armenia, but the distance between East and West Pakistan just wasn't practical, so the East eventually won independence as Bangladesh. Pakistan, as it then was invented by the British. They thought it would be better to create it as a new nation for India's Muslims, fearing they could not live peacefully with Hindus. In reality, they were wrong. India today has around 180 million Muslims. So you might be wondering why I chose Bangladesh rather than Pakistan. Bangladesh is surrounded by India both by land and water. Apart from their border with Burma, there was no historic Bangladeshi nation or identity. Pakistan, on the other hand, has more of a history of being separate from the Hindu kingdoms that became India. I consider Kosovo to be a country. I know just saying that will cause some Serbians to hate me, but to be honest, I find that whatever I do and wherever I go, I'm always met by angry Serbians. I don't know if everyone has that problem, or if it's just something between myself and the people of Serbia. But anyway, Kosovo was until recently part of Serbia, only declaring independence in 2008. They now operate as an independent state with its own military and recognition by many other countries. But as Serbia refuses to recognize it, Kosovo has been unable to join the UN. So technically it's a disputed territory as well as a country. But even if Kosovo gained full recognition, it still wouldn't be in good shape, as the poorest region of the Balkans, which is saying a lot. The people of Kosovo are ethnically Albanian and largely Muslim. With this in mind, Kosovo should probably become part of Albania, especially considering the concept of a Kosovan identity is a recent invention, and it's going to be almost impossible for her to survive as an independent state. North Korea probably shouldn't exist. It's my favourite country, but still, it shouldn't exist. Korea has historically been one united region or kingdom. Until 1910, Korea was its own empire, but as Japan was the first Asian country to industrialize, Korea could do little to resist Japanese military expansion, and so Korea was a Japanese territory until the end of World War II. Like Germany, part of Korea came to be occupied by Soviet forces, and part by American forces. Although both sides agreed Korea should be united, the Soviets wanted their influence to not weaken in the north of Korea. So when the West organized elections in the south, they installed Kim Il-sung as leader in the north. With the Kim family now holding absolute power in the north, it would gradually become its own country. And although this was never intended by the Allies, Korea was split into two states. The establishment of Taiwan as a country is like something from fiction, but no one really talks about it. Taiwan was once part of China, but between 1927 and 1950, China fell into civil war. Control of the country was fought over by the Chinese Nationalist Party, who were very right-wing, and the Chinese Communist Party, who were obviously very left-wing. After decades of struggle, the Communists were led to victory by Chairman Mao, who basically tricked the Nationalists into exhausting their troops by fighting against the Japanese. Mao made a deal with them that they would stop fighting each other and instead fight the Japanese. But while the Nationalists used conventional warfare, the Communists used guerrilla tactics. So by the end of World War II, the Nationalists were exhausted and weak, while the Communists were actually stronger. The Communists won and established what we now call China. But the Nationalists weren't giving up. They sailed to Taiwan where they established a new government. Both Taiwan and mainland China claimed to be the one true China. Technically, they are still both at war. China is still ruled by the same Communist Party. As a democracy, the same Nationalist Party is the major right-wing party of Taiwan. They both still claim to be China, and both agree there can be only one.
No mainland refuge now remains, and fleeing nationalists embark what troops they can to cross the ocean for the island of Formosa. Shanghai hears the message clearly as foreign businessmen board up their shops. Go now, go quickly, for communism marches. Take what you can, but flee. In pell-mell haste, the Western powers evacuate the city they have built, for good and bad alike must leave. The businessmen come for profit, as well as missionaries come to heal, must say goodbye, as out the Yangtze steams the last of Western influence, and farewell to a century. May 27, 1949. Down Shanghai's princely avenues, the pleasure boulevards of yesteryear, rolls the victorious red tide. In 6 more months, all China will submit. Red Star triumphant, hoisted over the world's most ancient nation. Silently, the crowds observe their newest conquerors. Such border barricades have separated not only bodies, but minds. Straining to hear, Westerners have tried to filter from escaping refugees and floating rumors the story of Mao's China. Despite a still continuing inner turmoil, nothing has shaken Mao's leadership. Adored as all but God, his triumphant revolution began by teaching that in America lay the world's arch evil.